Commander VX-T Lawan stood on the observation deck of the Galactic Alliance flagship Inevitable Dominance. Watching the blue-green planet rotating slowly on the main view screen, his four eyes blinked in sequence, a gesture of dismissive boredom among the ZTH carry species. So this is Earth hardly. Impressive, he muttered, mandibles clicking slightly as he spoke. Reports indicate these humans have only achieved interplanetary travel within their own system, no quantum drives, no neural networks, not even basic gravitational manipulation. Science Officer Nix Pell Varen tapped her data pad, bringing up holographic displays of human cities, transportation systems, and military installations. That is correct, Commander. Their technology is quaint. They still use combustion engines for most transportation, and their computational systems are primitive. Hey, they're still using silicon for processing. Lieutenant Krell barked from his station, his laughter echoing around the command center. My first educational toy had more computing power than their entire planet. The bridge crew joined in the laughter, creating a chorus of clicks, whistles, and rumbling sounds that represented amusement across the diverse species of the Alliance. Commander VX raised a clawed hand for silence. Nevertheless, the Galactic Council has marked the system for resource extraction. These humans occupy a planet with substantial quantities of liquid water, rare minerals, and biological diversity. The Science Division believes human physiology might present some interesting research opportunities as well. Their physical attributes are unremarkable. NYX continued scrolling through biological data. No natural armor, minimal muscle density compared to ZTH carry standards, slow reflexes, poor sensory capabilities. They cannot see in ultra or infrared spectrums. Their auditory range is limited. They lack any natural weapons beyond blunt teeth and weak claws they call fingernails. Security Chief Draz Morteka hulking Raikan with armored skin and twin tusks protruding from his lower jaw snorted. They look like larvae, soft, vulnerable. My security teams could subjugate their largest city in under one rotation cycle. The only curious thing, Nick added with a puzzled expression, it is their entertainment media. Our cultural analysts find it perplexing. Humans create fictional scenarios where they defeat vastly superior forces through what they call ingenuity and determination. They seem to have a psychological fixation on overcoming impossible odds. Commander VX waved a dismissive hand. Psychological compensation, the fantasies of a species that knows its limitations. Perhaps, Nick said, though they have an unusual history of interspecies conflict. They call it war, and they've been remarkably creative in developing technologies specifically designed to kill each other. Kel laughed again. So they're good at killing the only enemy that matches their pathetic capabilities themselves. Not exactly threatening to the Alliance. Precisely, VX agreed. Turning away from the view screen, began preparations for initial contact. Standard protocol: overwhelm in display of technological superiority, followed by demands for surrender and resource allocation. The Council expects this world to be processing raw materials for our central planets within 3 cycles, and if they resist, Astries almost. Hopefully, Commander V's 4 eyes blinked in perfect synchronization, a rare expression of complete certainty among his kind. Then, we will give them a brief educational lesson in galactic reality before we take what we want anyway. Schedule the first demonstration of force over their northern hemisphere in 12 hours. Target one of their smaller population centers, something expendable. As you command, Draz replied, already selecting targets on his tactical display. None of them noticed the small alert on Science Officer Nix's data pad. And addendum to the human psychological profile flagged as potentially significant, but ultimately dismissed as irrelevant. Warning: species demonstrates extreme behavioral changes when threatened. Recommend caution and initial approach. Be first contact gone wrong. The Galactic Alliance warship Inevitable Dominance hovered over Ottawa, Canada, a city deemed strategically insignificant by Commander V's tactical team. Perfect for a demonstration broadcast on all their communication frequencies. VX ordered, straightening his ceremonial collar. Let them hear the voice of their new master's communications officer. Tell. Zen nodded, her 6-fingered hands dancing across the control panel. Broadcasting now, Commander. VX cleared his throat. People of Earth, I am Commander VX-T Lorian of the Galactic Alliance, your planet has been selected for resource extraction and scientific study. Resistance is futile and unnecessary. Surrender now, and we will allow you to continue existing under our benevolent God guidance. The bridge crew exchanged amused glances. This speech, or variations of it, had been delivered to 17 other primitive worlds. The response was always the same: panic followed by pitiful attempts at resistance followed by surrender. Sir T reported were receiving thousands of transmissions from their governments and military installations. They appear to be conferring with each other. How quaint, V said with a dismissive wave. Give them 30 minutes to absorb the reality of their situation, then proceed with the demonstration. Precisely 30 minutes later, Draz activated the ship's primary weapon system, a gravitic pulse designed to flatten a 5 kilometers radius without leaving radiation, perfect for showing power while preserving resources. Target locked. On their Parliament Hill, commander fire a silent pulse of invisible energy shot downward. Buildings crumpled like paper toys. The shock wave rippled outward, shattered ing windows for miles. Within seconds, the heart of Ottawa was a flattened wasteland. Its demonstration complete, doctor reported with professional detachment. Estimated casualties, approximately 12,000 humans. Excellent, V nodded. Now we wait for their Sir. Tosh shouted, her normal composure shattered. Multiple launches detected. The humans are firing primitive nuclear tipped missiles at us. Bra blinked in prize. Activate defensive shields. Those can't possibly harm us, but let's not take chances with radioactive debris. The missiles detonated harmlessly against the ship's energy barrier, creating spectacular explosions that briefly outshone the sun. Sir Krell reported, checking his sensors. Our shields held at 99.8% efficiency. Their weapons are incoming. A different type of projectile. Faster, smaller streak toward the ship. What is that? Fra demanded. Analyzing, Nyx replied, her fingers flying across her console. It appears to be tungsten rods, purely kinetic weapons, no explosives. The rods slammed into the ship's shields, causing the entire vessel to shudder. Shield efficiency down to 95%. Krell reported, his voice betraying surprise, as they actually affected our defenses. Impossible, VX muttered. How did they? Sir TAA interrupted. We're receiving a transmission from Earth. It's being broadcast on our own frequency. They've already deciphered our communication protocols. Put it through, VX ordered, his mandibles clicking. Nervously, a human female appeared on screen. Her expression was not one of fear, but of cold, calculated fury. This is General Elena Martinez of Earth United Defense. You just made the biggest mistake in your species' history. That was the diplomatic district of a peaceful nation. You have 72 hours to leave our solar system, or we will show you what humans do to threats. And trust me, her lips curled into what humans called a smile, but contained no warmth. We've been practicing on each other for thousands of years. The transmission cut off, leaving the bridge and stunned silence. Commander Nyx said quietly, I think we may have miscalculated initial human response. Commander VX paced the bridge, his claws clicking against the polished floor. The tactical display showed a planet in upheaval, but not the kind he expected. This makes no sense, he muttered. Where's the panic, the mass evacuations, the surrender negotiations, the data flowing, and painted a baffling picture. Within hours of the Ottawa attack, Earth's previously divided nations had formed a unified defense coalition. Military resources were being pulled. Scientists from rival countries were sharing research. Production facilities were being converted to war manufacturing at unprecedented speed. Sir Nyx reported, their global communication networks are buzzing with activity. They've created a unified command structure that bypasses their previous political divisions. If it's remarkable adaptation, Krell snorted. So they're organizing. What can they possibly do against our technology? His question was answered when alarms blurred across the bridge. Multiple small craft approaching. Security Chief Draz shouted. They're using their lunar base as a launch point. Hundreds of vessels closing fast on the tactical display. Swarms of human spacecraft emerged from the dark side of Earth's moon. They were crewed by Alliance standards, clearly retrofitted from civilian designs or hastily assembled from military prototypes. But there were so many. Their propulsion systems are unusual, Nick noted with professional curiosity. They appear to have modified their primitive fusion drives to emit minimal thermal signatures. That's why our long-range sensors didn't detect the buildup. Destroy them, Brax ordered, all of them. The inevitable dominance, his weapon. Systems activated, lancing out with precise energy beams. Human ships exploded in silent bursts of light, but for each one destroyed, 3 more appeared, following erratic, unpredictable flight patterns that made targeting difficult. Sir, they're using their destroyed vessels as cover. GRZ realized too late. The debris is a massive explosion rocked the flagship as a human vessel already crippled deliberately crashed into their shield perimeter at maximum velocity. Kamikaze tactics, Nix whispered. Referenced in their historical military records, they're sacrificing pilots to test our defenses shields at 82%. Krell reported tensely, these primitives shouldn't be able to. Sir, TAA interrupted priority communication from the Alliance Command. 3 of our supply vessels approaching from the Arcturus system have been destroyed. Humans have somehow deployed long-range weapons beyond their planet's orbit. V's for eyes widened in disbelief, full of possible. They have no interstellar capability. Analysis suggests, Nick said quietly, they've reverse-engineered aspects of our propulsion technology simply by analyzing our ship's energy signature. During approach, they've adapted their existing missile systems accordingly, upcasting the was ISU on the view screen's news feeds from Earth showed humans rallying worldwide. In Times Square, crowds cheered as military recruitment centers overflowed. In Beijing, factory workers doubled shifts to produce new weapons. In Moscow, scientists worked feverishly on captured alien technology. In Lagos, hospitals organized blood drives while civilians built shelters, but most disturbing were the human faces, as there was fear, yes, but overshadowing it was something VX had never seen when conquering other worlds, a fierce, almost predatory enthusiasm. They're not just defending themselves, Draz observed, watching a human news broadcast showing civilians volunteering in mass. They're enjoying this. That planet just unified overnight. Not just unified, Nix corrected, her voice hollow as she analyzed human communications. Their most common shared message across all channels is simply finally a reason to get really nasty. The alien realization 3 days into what was supposed to be a routine conquest. Commander VX called an emergency meeting with his senior staff. The mood on the bridge had shifted from confident superiority to uneasy confusion. Explain, VX demanded, slamming his clawed hand on the conference table. How are these primitives not only resisting but adapting? Science officer Nix hesitantly activated a holographic display. Commander, I've been analyzing their historical and cultural records more thoroughly. I believe we severely misunderstood this species. The display showed montages of human warfare through the centuries, from ancient armies clashing with swords to modern conflicts with tanks and aircraft. Humans have spent their entire evolutionary history fighting. NXS explained, not just other species on their planet, but primarily themselves. They've had over 15,000 wars in their recorded history. Their most peaceful century still saw conflicts that killed millions, so they're violent. Draz shrugged. Many primitive species are no. You don't understand, Nix continued, her voice trembling slightly. War isn't just something humans do, it's something they perfect. Each conflict drove technological innovation. They went from first flight to nuclear weapons, and just 42 years from basic computing to AI. In less than a century, the hologram shifted to show human scientific achievements. Their scientific method is built around failure. Nick said, they try things knowing most attempts will fail. It's madness. By our standards, we develop technologies carefully, methodically. Humans throw 1,000 ideas at the wall, see what sticks, then immediately improve upon it. Rax's mandibles clicked nervously. What are you saying? I'm saying, Nix replied, that in the 3 days since our attack, they've analyzed every piece of our technology they could access from debridation signals and begun adapting it. They're not just fighting us, they're learning from us at a pace that defies comprehension. The hologram shifted again, showing intercepted human communications. Their cultural response is even more alarming, Nix continued. Listen to these broadcast fragments. The room filled with human voices. Been preparing for this my whole life. Every alien movie, every video game. He always knew we weren't alone. Now we get to show these space bastards humanity's greatest hits. Grandpa fought Nazis, Dad fought in Desert Storm. Now I get to fight actual aliens. Tull looked puzzled. They sound excited. Exactly. Nix nodded gravely. Their fiction, which we dismissed as fantasy, has been preparing them psychologically for this scenario for over a century, and they've imagined this conflict thousands of times while other species we've conquered responded with shock and terror. Humans are responding with familiarity many seem to welcome. The challenge. The final hologram showed a human military briefing where a commander told his troops, "Ladies and gentlemen, everything we've ever done has been practiced for this moment. Humanity finally has a common enemy, and God help those poor alien bastards." There's more. NX added quietly. Analysis of their neural patterns reveals something unique. When threatened, humans experience biochemical reactions that should induce paralysis from fear. Instead, many of them enter a state they call hyperfocus or battle clarity. Their cognitive functions actually improve under threat conditions. Bra stared at the data in horror. They're not just warriors, he whispered. They're evolved for warfare. Worse, Nix concluded. They enjoy it. They've been looking for a worthy opponent for centuries, and we just volunteered. Human counterattack. Multiple breaches detected in sectors 3 through 7. Lieutenant Krell shouted over the blaring alarms. How did they even get aboard? Commander VX gripped his command chair as the inevitable dominance shuddered under yet another impact. The past 12 hours had transformed his routine conquest into a nightmare. Report, he demanded, struggling to maintain authority as chaos erupted across the ship. Security Chief DRZ's voice came through the comm system, punctuated by the unmistakable sound of weapon fire. Humans, they used our own shuttle bay protocols against us, captured one of our scout vessels, replicated our identification signals. And Eric, the communication cut off abruptly. Draz Rex shouted. Nix's data pad chimed with an incoming anal as her eyes widened in horror. Commander, they've deployed some kind of chemical agent throughout the lower decks. It's melting our troops. Melting. VX repeated, mandibles clicking in agitation. That's barbaric. What kind of species would Sir TAA interrupted incoming transmission from the human strike team. The main view screen activated to show a human male in black tactical gear, his face partially covered by a breathing apparatus. Behind him, VX could see Alliance crew members writhing on the floor as their exoskeletons dissolved. Hello, Commander, the human said casually, removing his mask to reveal a grinning face. Colonel Jack Reeves, Earth Special Forces. Hope you don't mind us dropping in unannounced. Just wanted to let you know we've studied your ship schematics. Fascinating design, putting the primary life support systems on the lower decks. Very efficient, very vulnerable. You dare? Bra sputtered. We have vastly superior technology. Yeah, we noticed. Reeves interrupted, holding up what appeared to be an Alliance neural disruptor. Nice toys. We've been reverse engineering them. Turns out they work really well once we amplify the output by about 300%. Your troops' nervous systems just can't handle it. Bit messy, but effective in the background. Alliance security forces charged into view without turning around. Reeves nodded to someone. Off-screen, a deafening explosion followed, and the charging troops disappeared in a flash of light. Oh, and we repurposed your energy converters into improvised explosives, Reeves added with a shrug. Your own technology turned against you. Ironic, isn't it? On the bridge, tactical displays showed human forces advancing through multiple deaths simultaneously. They weren't just fighting, they were hunting. Sir Krell reported, voice shaking. They targeting command staff. Specifically, they're using our own internal tracking systems to locate senior officers. What? Nick stared at her monitors and disbelief. They've hacked our ship's translation matrix. They're speaking perfect ZTH carry to confuse our troops and issue false commands. Your species is remarkably adaptable, Commander Reeves continued on screen, but here's something you should understand about humans. We don't just adapt, we weaponize everything. Your communication protocols, now they're delivering viruses to your systems. Your medical bay, we've reprogrammed it to identify Alliance DNA as pathogens. Your nutritional synthesizers currently pumping your air supply full of subtle hallucinogens that your biology can't filter. A massive explosion rocked the ship, throwing crew members to the floor. Oh, and that was your secondary reactor, Reeves noted casually. We decided it would make a nice diversion while we take over your primary weapons control. This is insanity, VX shouted. Your damaging technology. You can't possibly understand. You'll destroy yourselves along with us. Reeves laughed, a sound that sent chills Through V's exoskeleton, you still don't get it. Humans have been practicing asymmetric warfare for centuries. When we can't match an enemy's strength, we find creative ways to use their strength against them. You brought a superior arsenal to our planet, and now it's our arsenal. The ship rocked with another explosion. Your shield generators will fail in approximately 6 minutes, Reeves continued, checking what appeared to be an Alliance engineering tablet he'd repurposed. Then your ship will be vulnerable. To our little surprise, we've positioned 300 nuclear warheads in a sphere around your V vessel. Old technology, sure, but we figured quantity has a quality all its own. Brax's four eyes blinked in panic sequence. You would sacrifice your own boarding teams, your own people, for the first time. Reeves' grin faded, replaced by something colder and more terrifying. Commander, humanity just watched you flatten one of our cities. There are thousands of volunteers willing to die to take you down, but here's the kicker: we don't plan to die while your crew's been busy dealing with our frontal assault. Our real operation has been elsewhere. The camera panned to show humans in engineering uniforms working at Alliance control stations. We're not just attacking your ship, Reeves explained. We're taking it, every system, every weapon, every piece of technology you so arrogantly brought to our doorstep. By this time tomorrow, we'll be replicating it all. The day after that, improving it. As if to emphasize his point, the lights on the bridge flickered, then changed from the Alliance's standard blue to an aggressive red. Sir, TAA whispered, they've taken control of life support. Colonel Reeves smiled again. Now, Commander, shall we discuss the terms of your surrender? The final stand. 3 weeks after the initial attack on Ottawa, the Galactic Alliance fleet hung in disarray above Earth's orbit. What had begun as a standard conquest mission with 15 warships had devolved into a desperate struggle for survival. Commander VX, now operating from the auxiliary command center of the damaged flagship, stared at the tactical display with all 4 eyes wide in disbelief. 8 Alliance vessels had been completely destroyed. 3 more had been captured intact. The remaining 4, including the inevitable Dominants, were surrounded by a swarm of retrofitted human vessels. Some Alliance designs it, others cobbled together from Earth technologies, but enhanced with salvaged alien tech. But we need to retreat, Bra said, his voice hoarse from exhaustion. Order all remaining ships to prepare for emergency quantum jumps, Ertel replied, her normally smooth voice now trembling. The humans have deployed some kind of disruption field. Our quantum drive can't establish a stable matrix. What? That's not possible. They couldn't possibly understand quantum mechanics at that level in just 3 weeks. NYX looked up from her data pad, her eyes hollow. They didn't need to fully understand it, Commander. They simply observed how our systems operated, identified the quantum field generators, then created devices that produce opposing wave patterns, crude but effective, like jamming old radio signals, but on a quantum level. Sir, Lieutenant Krull shouted, multiple launches detected from Earth's surface. They're using our own weapons against us. The view screen showed the horrifying sight of Alliance energy weapons clearly salvaged from destroyed ships now mounted on human launch platforms. Of concentrated energy sliced through space, cutting into the remaining Alliance vessels with surgical precision. How? Brax whispered, those weapons require rare elements not found on Earth. They're not using our power sources, Nix explained. Analyzing the data, they've adapted the weapon designs to work with their nuclear fusion technology, less efficient, shorter range, but clearly effective enough. The ship rocked violently as another impact struck the hull. Commander Ta reported, we're receiving a transmission from Earth's Unified Defense Command. Put it through, V said. Wearily, General Elena Martinez appeared on screen, flanked by military officers from various Earth nations. Behind them stood a team of scientists examining what appeared to be Alliance technology. Commander VX Martinez began, her voice cold, but controlled. Your remaining ships are surrounded and your quantum drives disabled. Your options are now limited to 2, surrender or destruction. You have 5 minutes to decide. Rax's mandibles clicked in desperate defiance. You may have surprised us, human, but the Galactic Alliance spans thousands of worlds. When our fleet fails to report back, they will send more ships, hundreds more. You cannot hope to actually. Martinez interrupted, we're counting on that, she gestured, and the camera panned to show a familiar device. This is your ship's quantum communicator. We've not only deciphered how it works, but we've sent a message to your Alliance leadership. Impossible, VX Breathe. The security protocols were impressive. Martinez nodded, but not. Insurmountable. Your technology is advanced, Commander, but your thinking is linear, predictable. You develop a technology, and then stop innovating. Once it works, humans never stop. We've already improved your communication system's range by 22%. Martinez stepped closer to the camera, her expression hardening. The message we sent included footage of what happened to your fleet along with the simple statement, Earth is not available for conquest and further attempts will result in humanity bringing the war to your world. She paused, allowing her words to sink in. We've also transmitted the specifications for our improved version of your quantum weapons. Consider it a demonstration of what happens when humans get their hands on new toys. The bridge fell silent as the implications became clear. You wouldn't. Vax stammered. You're a primitive species. You couldn't possibly. 3 weeks ago, we had never seen a quantum drive, Martinez replied evenly. Now we're building our own. We've already sent unmanned probes to your nearest colony world just to prove we can reach it. They're carrying nothing but cameras this time. She leaned forward, her face filling the screen. We were content to live on our little blue planet, Commander. You changed that. You showed us what's out there. You gave us access to technologies we might have taken centuries to develop on our own. And most importantly, her voice dropped to a near whisper, you gave humanity something it's never truly had before. What's that? VX asked, already knowing the answer. A common enemy, Martinez replied. A reason to unite, a direction for all our creative talents for war making. So I'll ask once more, surrender or face extinction? Behind VX, the remaining bridge crew looked to their commander. They all knew the answer. They all knew this battle was lost the moment they had mistaken humanity's technological limitations for weakness. We surrender, Vac said finally. Martinez nodded. Wise choice. Prepare to be boarded. As the transmission ended, Nix approached VX quietly. What happens now, Commander? VX stared at the blue-green planet that had so thoroughly humbled the mighty Alliance. Now the galaxy changes. Everything changes. We awaken something terrible today. May the cosmos forgive us. Aftermath and reflection. 6 months after the surrender of the Galactic Alliance forces, former Commander VX T. Lawan sat in his containment quarters at the newly established extraterrestrial research facility in Geneva. Unlike traditional prisons, his accommodations were comfortable, even luxurious by human standards. A calculated demonstration of humanity's strange blend of ferocity and mercy. Across from him sat Dr. Rebecca Chin, the human Zenit psychologist assigned to study him. Their weekly interviews had become a ritual that VX grudgingly anticipated. You seem contemplative today, Commander, Dr. Chun observed, activating her recording device. Brax clicked his mandibles softly. The sound, as captors had learned, indicated role amusement. I was thinking about inevitability, Doctor, about how spectacularly wrong an entire galactic civilization can be. You're referring to your assessment of humanity. May 17th. Worlds, V said, his four eyes blinking in sequence. That's how many species the Alliance had successfully conquered before encountering yours. 17 civilizations that followed the expected pattern when confronted with superior technology and overwhelming force. Dr. Chen nodded. Yet we didn't know. You most certainly did not. VX gestured toward the window, where he could see human engineers reverse engineering Alliance technology in the distance. Do you know what your people have accomplished in 6 months that would have taken the Alliance 30 years? Your quantum internet exceeds our communication network capabilities already. Your weaponized applications of our medical technology are terrifying. We've always been good at adapting, Dr. Chen replied. Good. VX laughed, a harsh click sound. Doctor, you don't understand. Your species doesn't adapt, it transforms. It consumes ideas and technologies like biological nutrients and grows stronger. But the Alliance advances through careful, methodical research. Humanity, you leap forward, kenning between brilliance and disaster with reckless abandon. He leaned forward. Your history should have been a warning to us. No other species we've encountered has survived multiple near-extinction events of their own, making you've endured ice ages, plagues, world wars, nuclear standoffs, and each time emergency. More resilient, more innovative, more dangerous. Some would call that admirable, Dr. Chen suggested. Some would call it terrifying. VX countered. Your fiction prepared you Psychologically, for us, your constant warfare prepared you tactically, your scientific method embracing failure as a path to success prepared you technologically, and your fractured political landscape meant you had thousands of different approaches to every problem. He gestured toward a tablet showing the latest human advancements in quantum propulsion. The Alliance Council has agreed to your terms, full technological exchange, recognition of Earth's sovereignty, and mutual defense pacts. Do you know why? Tell me, Dr. Chen prompted. Because in just 6 months you've demonstrated that given enough time humanity wouldn't just defeat the Alliance, you would replace it. Brax's eyes focused on distant stars through the window. The Alliance scientists project that at your current rate of technological advancement, enhanced by our knowledge, you'll surpass our capabilities within a decade. Dr. Chen remained silent, allowing him to continue. We came to your world believing we were introducing primitive savages to the reality of a vast advanced galactic community, Bra said quietly. Instead, we unleash something the galaxy has never seen before. A species evolved through constant conflict, psychologically conditioned to expect extraterrestrial threats, and culturally programmed to respond to challenges with innovation rather than submission. He turned all 4 eyes directly to Dr. Chen. My final report to the Alliance Council contained just one recommendation: never again threaten humanity, never again give you a reason to get really nasty, because the next time the galaxy itself might not survive. Dr. Chen smiled slightly. You make a sound rather monstrous, Commander. No, Dr. Bra replied, that's what doomed us from the start, thinking you were either primitive savages or advanced monsters. You're neither. You're something far more dangerous. You're human, and the galaxy will never be the same again.